friendly local mad scientist here with my pal Lily to bring you today's tale. Now, today we're covering the domestication process of Canis lupus familiaris, a mammal of the family Canidae, order Carnivora, otherwise known as the modern dog. Dogs are a subspecies of the gray wolf, Canis lupus. But dog is a confusing word because it's much broader of a term than many may think. Canidae is the biological family of carnivorans colloquially referred to as dogs. There are 3 subfamilies found within the canid family. 2 of those are now extinct, leaving now caninae. The caninae are known as canines and include domestic dogs, wolves, coyotes, foxes, and jackal. During the Ice Age, the gray wolf, Canis lupus, became the top predator of Eurasia. Due to their ability to keep pace with herds of migratory ungulates, the wolf becomes the first mammalian pastoralist. Our own species separated from chimpanzee-like ancestors in Africa around 6 million years ago, likely as a result of climate changes of the Ice Age. Our ancestors walked upright as true humans, Homo erectus, into the open African savannas. An agile tree climber was forced to transform into a swift, running ape that adapted to hunting the swift pastoralist prey like elk and bison. Sometime during the last Ice Age, our ancestors teamed up with the pastoralist wolves. First, presumably, some humans adopted the wolves' lifestyles as herd followers and herders of reindeer and other hoofed animals. Early wolf dogs would have tracked and harassed animals like elk and bison and would have hounded them until they tired. Then humans would have come in and killed them with our spears, bows, and arrows. Wolves and humans found our match and began our coevolution. Modern humans are known to have evolved in Africa. They began to immigrate around 70,000 years ago, reaching Europe around 25,000 years later. Modern humans formed an alliance with wolves soon after we entered Europe and came to domesticate them many thousands of years ago. Gray wolves and dogs diverged from an extinct wolf species as much as 40,000 years ago. Dogs were the first things humans domesticated before any plant, before any other animal. Human domestication of the dog seems to correlate to the time when Earth was beginning to warm and large species like mammoths were disappearing, and smaller migratory game like reindeer became the dominant prey of the landscape. In time, human beings came to breed dogs for any purpose we could imagine, for companionship, for herding, for hunting, and even for fighting other dogs. Ancient humans and wolves constantly crossed paths in nature, often hunting the same animals and sharing similar family grouping with well-developed cooperation and communication. Humans had collaborated with wolves for a very long period of time, where they knew we were sources of food, and because we hunt the same prey in much the same ways, we knew they were well-suited comrades. Dogs coordinate in hunting, communicating in their own way to plot direction, practice and learn to hunt better, and as a pack. We could coordinate hunting techniques with them because we track and outmaneuver our prey the same way they do. But wolves, and later dogs, can outrun the prey much easier than humans. So we track animals, following where they have run because our speed does not allow us to keep up. Early wolf dogs would have tracked and hunted animals like elk and bison, chasing them until they tired. Wolves run down their prey with speed and endurance. We track animals and catch up to our prey, which becomes exhausted and vulnerable from running. We chase it down until it can't run anymore. We track it until we find it, and then we would have killed them with spears and bows and arrows. So while wolves would have chased and worn down the prey, humans would approach these large cornered animals to finish them off, often the dangerous part of the hunt. Then we shared the meat. It was a relationship that highly benefited both species. Humans and wolves were made for each other, 2 of the most dangerous animals on the planet. Thousands of years ago, as nomadic hunter-gatherers, humans spent much of our time eating around a campfire. After dining on the hunt, around the fire, we would toss and leave behind scraps of food that would be picked up by the scavenging wolves. These clever scavengers came to seek us out for these easy snacks, while we sought out the traits of hypersociability. The wolves that were less afraid and would come closer would be rewarded with the best treats. Their offspring would become even less afraid. And so over generations, those wolves that befriended mankind benefited from our scraps and shared kills. Through generations of becoming less aggressive, those traits also came with other traits like smaller bodies, less bushy tails that curled, and shortened snouts with smaller teeth. Over a long period of time of evolution, the friendly ones would become dogs, and the frightened ones would go on to become the wolves of modern day. Slowly, mankind turned those friendly scavengers into a mutually beneficial relationship. They would bark at movement and came to be guards and allies in survival. Ancient people hunted reindeer across vast plains and needed a means of transportation, possibly explaining why dog bones and the remains of wooden sleds have been found. Evidence that suggested people bred smaller dogs for sledding, at least smaller than large wolves, and larger dogs for hunting. Thus we began to change the wolf's appearance, and over the millennia, turn them into all breeds of dogs we have today, from corgis to Great Danes. Our loyal companions have come a long way with human beings, and they have gone through an enormous number of changes in a fairly short amount of time, considering every breed of dog in the world originated from the same species of gray wolf. The majority of well-developed civilizations lived with, wrote about, and made records of dogs, each along the way bringing their own perspective and spin to training and breeding techniques. From prehistoric times to the present day, humans have bred dogs for fun and companionship, for their beauty and elegance, or to help with tasks. Scientific findings suggest humans have altered brains of different breeds of dogs in different ways throughout selective breeding. Among all dog breeds, differences in their brain networks have been found to correspond to differences in their behavior. One of the most remarkable aspects of domesticated dog cognition is their ability to read people. Like humans, dogs seem naturally inclined to use cues like pointing or gazing to find hidden food sources, unlike their wolf ancestors and non-human primates. As a result of this long period of selective breeding and domestication, making use of human social cues is a skill now present in dogs, regardless of upbringing, and absent in wolves. The invention of kennel clubs in 1873 began a large leap in dog breed standards and diversity. Most dog breeds we recognize today were developed in the last 150 years, spurred on by what's become known as the Victorian explosion. During this time in Great Britain, dog breeding intensified and expanded, resulting in many of our recognizable breeds today. Most breeds were formed and adapted their standards little more than 100 generations ago. Dogs began to be bred in distinct shapes and sizes, selected for their particular characteristics and abilities. By selective breeding, humans have shaped the dog's body into all the varying shapes and sizes, developing breeds with a wide array of specializations. Rather than natural selection, breeding the most naturally adaptive wolves, selective breeding chose the cutest and those traits most appealing to human preference. Now, my doggie, who just turned 7 last month, is a Chiweenie, which is a breed that is a mix between a Chihuahua and a Dachshund. So I'm going to focus on those two breeds a bit more than others. Chihuahuas are a special little breed that originated as a distinct breed around 1,000 years ago. Like their wolf ancestors, Chihuahuas' ears have remained large and cone-shaped, which allows for a large amount of surface area to concentrate the sound directly into their eardrums. Because of this, Chihuahuas have some of the best hearing of all dog breeds. While they may be small, their adaptive hearing is a defensive benefit, like natural radar to pick up sound. They let us know they hear this by barking, and the bark also helps protect them by alerting their family and owners. In addition to ears, the dog's tail is another tail to tell. A dog's tail will provide a good amount of information about their breed. The main evolutionary purpose for growing a tail was balance, and evolved into a large variety of shapes and sizes. Long, short, stubby, curly, you name it, they got it. And each of those tails gives insight into the necessities of that particular breed. Long, slender tails can help with agility and making turns at high speeds. Huskies have large furry tails that they use for temperature and to help them stay warm. Breeders chose beagles with white tips on their tails since the 1500s, making the camouflaged little pooch easier to see in the brush. Corgis have a little bobtail on their behind. Dachshunds have extraordinarily long bodies. This is to help them dig holes. They have short legs and long bodies, which is a form of dwarfism bred into them. It allows their back half to remain firmly on the ground as the front half digs right into the earth. They are also one of the best burrowing breeds in the species. Their size and shape allows them to dig into narrow holes of prey, such as rabbits, while diving down into the holes. Perfect for hunting rabbits and varmints. Whatever size or shape, or whatever specialty their particular breed was bred for, dogs are the most amazing thing humans have ever created. Dogs are indeed not just mankind's best friend, but also our oldest. As humans advance technology, food resources, and other skills, the canine has become less necessary. However, the dog is still an essential tool for many herders and farmers around the world. While dogs may no longer be as necessary for the reasons that our ancient ancestors required, along the way they have become our best friends. Studies have shown dogs make us feel less alone. Dogs help us stop stressing, help us cope with crisis, and are good for your heart, literally and figuratively. Dogs even make us more social and more likely to do physical activity. Let me note, in a series of studies, men were more likely to get a woman's phone number when they had a dog with them. Dogs were shown to be the sexiest pet a guy can own, and different types of dogs have different impacts on potential partners. So dogs are scientifically shown to make us happier. Whether unconditional love, devoted companionship, or constant entertainment, spending time with your canine companion does wonders for your well-being. And of course, dogs get love, shelter, food, and toys in return as well. They take care of us as much as we take care of them. That mutually beneficial source of emotional support between dogs and humans is a relationship that may never end. Well, time to feed the dog, so I gotta end this video. As always, this is just me barking my opinion, and I'm probably wrong. I hope you found it interesting, and I always recommend going off and doing your own research. Thanks for watching. I appreciate every view. Help spread the madness by hitting that like button, subscribe, and be sure to tell all your enemies to watch. And remember, don't get angry, go mad.